So, farewell then, Griffin Park. Even for this neutral, there will be a lump in the throat at full time as the players leave the field never to return. A goodbye to another of the traditional arenas that engender so many memories of the good and the bad, the surreal and the spectacular. In 116 years of football on this site, hemmed in between the terraced housing and the pubs, there have been more than 2,080 league matches, creating so many stories indelibly etched on the psyche of Brentford fans. But that a mere 106 of those came in the top division gives you a sense of what they're on the verge of achieving. There would only be one fitting way for the Griffin Park story to end, but football and hopeless romanticism are seldom good bedfellows. The Bees have already had their chances to write that ending. 2 points from the final 2 matches of the season would have been enough to bring Premier League football to the shiny new ground by Kew Bridge. But in losing both games, including one to relegation-threatened Barnsley here, they find themselves embroiled in the end-of-season circus they were so desperate to avoid. For Swansea, the opposite was true. A playoff place, a pipe dream, even with less than an hour of the season remaining. But as Forest collapsed, their own miracle of the Medeski unfolded, putting the Swans into Griffin Park's swan song. If they can avoid defeat this evening, it'll be they who stride out at Wembley next Tuesday night, just 90 minutes away from a return to the top flight in which they've spent much of the last decade. And Brentford's long 3-generation wait for a return to the elite would go on. Reminder of the two teams: Brentford, David Raya in goal, Dalsgaard, Janssen, Pinnock and Henry, Jensen, Norgard and Emiliano, and Burmo, Watkins and Benrahma. It's Mulder in goal for Swansea, Norton, Van der Horn and Gurhey, Roberts, Grimes, Fulton and Bidwell, and Gallagher in support of Ayew and Brewster. Chris Kavanagh is the referee, the man used to top-flight football, just waiting for the signal to get this game underway, with Brentford in their red and white stripes and Swansea in their change kit of predominantly black with a dark green trim and shorts and socks. And it will be Swansea that will get us underway, kicking from left to right towards the Ealing Road end, the eastern end of Griffin Park on a beautiful evening. And before the match starts, the players unite in taking the knee. To within 4 weeks, it's 100 years since Griffin Park saw its first league match, a 1-0 victory over Millwall in Division 3 South, which they won thanks to a goal from a well-travelled Yorkshireman. It was Reg Boyne that wrote his name in club history that day. But a century on, who will score the last goal at Griffin Park? And will it mark a triumphant final chapter to this much-loved stadium? Or will Swansea make it a poignant, agonising farewell? Swansea getting us underway, kicking from left to right, and they have a throw over on the far touchline, which is there, the left-hand side, right in front of the two dugouts. Thomas Frank is standing there looking calm. Steve Cooper with arms folded across his chest, fully expecting that his side will be able to do the job. Swansea beaten 3-1 here back on Boxing Day. And of course a repeat of that tonight will be enough for the Bees to make it through to play either Cardiff or Fulham, and we will find out for sure who it will be tomorrow night live on TalkSport. Brentford clearing from the right-hand side of their own penalty area, forward towards the bleached blonde hair of Benrahma, but one back in the midfield by Matt Grimes, the Swansea captain, who plays it up the left-hand touchline, put out a play by Dalsgaard for a throw that will be taken over on that Swansea left-hand side. 0-0, 1-0 to the Swans on aggregate, and alongside me, David Connolly.
Yeah, good evening, Jim. I mean, just looking at Ray a couple of times here, the Brentford goalkeeper, we saw this against Barnsley. I mean, a really simple pass back to them, kicked it straight off the park, ball back with the Swans, and it'll be really interesting to see how he settles down here today. If it's a confident performance, because I think that's really important. It just settles your back forward down if your goalkeeper's on it.
Pinnock playing it forward. It was Ollie Watkins that was claiming there was a handball there by Norton. Rico Henry able to pick up possession for Brentford on this left-hand touchline. Originally suspended, of course, for tonight's game, but won his appeal against the red card that he picked up on Sunday night in South Wales, and eligible to keep his place on the left-hand side of the back four, which means that Mads Rasmussen is back on the bench for the Bees again tonight. Here's Pinnock now. He's playing it forward towards halfway. Jensen dropping deep and picking up possession. Goes back for Pinnock, who works it to his right-hand side for Brentford's club record signing, Pontus Jansson. Janssen's ball forward, try and spin it round the corner and Swansea win it back, but Jansson is there ahead of AU to be able to calm things down, and then Dalsgaard will look long for the run of Watkins. Norton, who's detailing him, came across and headed it away, and Burma trying to get into a decent position, and then it's cleared by Gurhey off Watkins and out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Swansea's Erwin Mulder. It's Brentford 0, Swansea 0 on TalkSport.
Well, good covering there from Norton, the right side centre half for Swansea on the cover, because Watkins was away. Good to see Brentford mixing their game up, at times going short, but that time a long 40-yard raking, ball in behind. Good covering though from the Swans defence.
And it's a goal kick which will be taken by Erwin Mulder, who started the last 4 games after the injury to Swansea's first choice goalkeeper Freddie Woodman. He's on loan from Newcastle, and Freddie's dad, Andy Woodman, used to be a Brentford player back in the day here at Griffin Park. Brought under control, the ball right in front of us on the Brentford left, with Jensen finding Ben Rama. Work back through the midfield, Emiliano Moncondes from distance, goalkeeper just gets his hands behind it and beats it away. It moved viciously in the air, Mulder not taking any chances with no Brentford players able to follow up, and he just stopped it and hoped that it bounced into a neutral part of the pitch, which it did, and Swansea then win a free kick just outside their own box.
Well, he took no chances there. Mulder just patted the ball down, but a really good strike from Moncondes. He's about 30 yards out, not really closed down, took one touch out of his feet and then really did pack a punch, but straight at the goalkeeper.
Back here at Griffin Park, Emiliano Moncondes, he had a loan spell in Danish football with Midtjylland earlier this season, but back in the Bees midfield for much of the second half of the campaign. Swansea bringing it forward with Jay Fulton, one back though by Jensen, turn forward through the midfield down towards the left-hand side for Jensen, continuing his run and trying to get away from Connor Roberts. Then he turns it right back to the halfway line and spins an early ball out towards Mbermo, who was an awkward piece of control by Bidwell. It just set up a little bit awkwardly. The referee decided that it wasn't a handball, and Swansea are allowed to continue. And AU has it on the right-hand touchline with his back to the direction of play. The man at the moment who's had the most significant contribution of this playoff semi-final with the winning goal in South Wales the other night. Ben Rama winning it back, sliding challenge, very well timed by the big Dutchman Mike van der Hoorn in the middle of the 3 centre-halves for Swansea. Now Mark Gurhey, another player on loan from Chelsea. Work by Grimes, out towards the left-hand side for Bidwell. Good running off the ball from Gallagher. Bidwell plays it to Conor Gallagher now. Started the last game of the regular season playing up front. There's a false 9 in that game at Reading. Had a wonderful season and hopes to end it having been both relegated and promoted from this division over the course of the campaign, with Charlton having already gone down. Not that you can put that one on here, but now as the ball is played forward, flag is up against Ryan Brewster. Sean Maciel is on this near touchline, putting it up slightly late, but absolutely adamant that it was the right decision as Brewster tried to steal a march in the inside left channel. And it's a free kick to Brentford. They've taken quickly, David.
Yeah, it was a lovely little flick round the corner, wasn't it, from Gallagher? He's got that ability in the little pocket, number 10 role. Just spotted the run of Brewster, but he'd gone fractionally early. What's interesting for Brentford is Ben Rama's positioning. We saw this against Barnsley. He's not really playing out wide. He's playing in that number 10 role. Very difficult to mark. At times, Van der Hoorn is unsure. Do I go out, come out of my slot and go and mark him? At times, he stays in the pocket. You know, it's very difficult. Really intelligent position here from Ben Rama. He's trying to affect the game more, which I think he can in that number 10 role.
So what Swansea have tried to do by and large is keep Jay Fulton on him at the moment, but it's easier said than done because of the fluidity of his movement.
Well, look where he is now. I mean, the ball's in and around the halfway line. He's right behind Watkins.
As it's launched forward, Watkins takes it on his chest. Van der Hoorn can sweep up, back to his goalkeeper. Mulder with his weaker left foot slices it straight out of play. And it's a Brentford throw, which will be taken over on the far touchline, only about 10 yards or so from the corner flag. An opportunity for Dalsgaard to make his way forward here, 0-0. Well,
I mean, that triangle of Brewster, Ayew and Gallagher is almost similar to Benrahma, Watkins and Mbeumo. They're so narrow, so close together, those front 3 for Brentford.
So Dalsgaard has the ball in his right hand above his head. Now leans back towards the board, hurls it in. Gurhey climbs the highest and gets the dominant touch on that under a bit of duress, and has conceded a corner, which is the first and he'll be taken by Jensen over on that right-hand touchline. Brentford, Thomas Frank said that side would come out, be out of the traps very quickly.
It's a good start,
true to the word.
Yeah, absolutely, really good start. I mean, anyone who watches Brentford a lot will know they're really good at set pieces. Had a set piece specialist coach. They scored against Swansea on Boxing Day with a set piece, a corner. I just wonder what they got up their sleeve here. Might be something they haven't used in a long while from the repertoire.
Well, the 6-yard box is very congested. Brentford have got 5 players in there, standing pretty much round Erwin Mulder, the goalkeeper. So most of the penalty area is vacant here. It's flighted towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and the heads go up. There was a push in there. It was Janssen that won the header, and 3 Swansea players. It's like a game 10-pin bowling as Janssen went up for it, and they all went down, bang, 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 right across the edge of the 6-yard box.
Well, Jim, the incredible thing about that is, I look back when these two played in December. They scored using that exact set piece. So, I mean, they didn't go around the repertoire that much. They thought, you know what, it worked in the first game of the league season, well, in the league game, let's try it again. Drilled to the back post, try to get a block on because they man-marked Swansea and it nearly came off.
There's Mbermo and Watkins. They've got the 3 goals between them that day for Brentford. Ray Hughes scoring the Swansea goal, one of 18 that he's netted over the course of the season, which makes it his best campaign so far. It's the poorest challenge so far of the night, as it was just putting on one of the Swansea players over on the far touchline. Gallagher that's gone down.
Dalsgaard with a really heavy challenge. Obviously, he's so talented, Gallagher. As I said, I saw him at Aldershot Town so many times playing for Chelsea's under-23s. A lot of clubs looking at taking him on loan, and finally Charlton sort of took the plunge. What season he had there, or half season, until obviously Steve Cooper grabbed him. Done really well.
And he has, over the course of his impressive season, already scored the winner against Brentford once. That was in his Charlton days. High ball work down towards the right-hand side. They've switched the play very effectively to Conor Roberts, trying to get in past Rico Henry, who's blocked him off. Roberts goes down holding his face, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Swansea, a couple of yards in from the right-hand touchline, about 7 from the corner flag. I just wonder whether there will be any hangover to that incident the other night where the Swansea players were absolutely incensed by Rico Henry's challenge. Well, and he got the red card, which he successfully, and I believe rightly, appealed against and won the appeal. But I just wonder whether there'll be a hangover from that from either set of players. But this free kick, the first that he's given away.
Well, you can certainly hear the appeals from the people in the stands, whether it's, you know, support staff or whatever, kicking every ball.
So there's an opportunity for Grimes here to swing a left-footed free kick in from not too far away from the corner flag. Van der Horn is trying to make a run at the far post. Watkins doing his best to block him, and it's a good claim by David Raya under pressure. Probably was fouled. In fact, the referee acknowledges that. But having then got the ball in his hand, he's bowled it out very quickly for Jensen. What a through ball that is! Pass of the night for Watkins. 1-0 Brentford. That is just a majestic pass. Absolutely sublime. 40 yards, split the defence wide open. Watkins ran onto it. He will take the plaudits, but it's all about the quality from Jensen. Just a majestic pass. Watkins drew the goalkeeper, slots it into the bottom left-hand corner. Brentford leads Swansea by a goal to 0, and it's dead level again on aggregate at 1-1.
Oh, what a finish from Watkins, but as you said, made from the pass. I mean, if you're looking for a defence splitting pass, this would be one of them. Great example. All starts with a goalkeeper, though, really clean hands to take the in-swinging delivery. Then he sets Brentford on the attack. Terrific little turn inside from Jensen. Then he spots the runner Watkins, who actually breaks from the free kick. He's run about 40-50 yards, sprints straight through the middle of the pitch. 1v1 with the goalkeeper, keeps his calm, keeps his composure, slots it across the keeper. Great goal. 26th goal of the season for Ollie Watkins, who has reached the playoff final in the past, back in his Exeter City days. And that's 15 in his last 23 here. A man who has had an excellent season against most opposition, but against Swansea already, having netted twice against them down in South Wales in the league. And he's made the breakthrough tonight. 1-0 Brentford lead it with 11 minutes on the clock, and it's 1-1 on aggregate. Big appeals for handball
were against Emiliano Marcondes, and the free kick taken by Swansea. They've lost possession though. Fulton with a touch, but Mbermo can pick it up. The Frenchman working it round the corner, Marcondes helping it on, down towards Jensen on the left-hand side of the three in midfield. Gets a return ball from Rico Henry, checks back inside, tries to deliver, handball surely by Andre Ayew, and it's a free kick right on the left-hand side of the penalty area for Brentford, and they are flying.
Yeah, they are buzzing, they really are. They're moving the ball so well. This is as good as I've seen them for a long time here. Really sharp, terrific running in behind. Lovely little turn there from Jensen. Justified his selection so far, that's for sure.
Not much. One of the best assists I've seen all season. That through ball.
That's the problem with the back three, Jim. You know, it can be so spread. The gaps can be huge if you can get it right.
And Jensen stands over this as well. There are two in the Swansea wall. They're not sure who it's going to be. Roberts just peels away. But Gallagher is joined in there by Brewster. Ben Rama hits it in right-footed. He was going for the top left-hand corner. It's a direct shot, although they were all lining up on the edge of the 6-yard box for it, and he put too much power and elevation on it, and he cleared that top left-hand corner and goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Erwin Mulder. No clean sheet for him tonight. Brentford leading Swansea by a 0-0. The matches between the playoff teams over the course of the regular season. Brentford picked up 16 points from 6 games. Swansea just the 4. Here's Marcondes making his way forward for Brentford. Layoff from him to Dalsgaard. Through the midfield to Norgard. Back out towards the taller Dalsgaard in his white boots. The one player who's been booked so far tonight. He rolls it into the centre circle for Pinnock. Pinnock goes back to his goalkeeper, David Raya, in all orange tonight. No away goals, incidentally. So if it's level on aggregate, it's level on aggregate. You don't have to worry about the fact that Brentford didn't score an away goal the other night, or whether Swansea do score one this evening. And if it's still level after extra time, of course, it's a penalty shootout.
Well, I tell you what, they're moving the ball so well. Looking at Ben Rama just operating off the front. Swansea have got to get this right now, because at times they're a little bit too deep, worried about that pacing behind, just creating those little gaps. The balls should just drop into the front. Watkins a couple of times now, taking it under no real pressure on his chest. Then they set play up, and suddenly they're through you with a really quick play. Really good start here from the home team, I've got to say, outstanding.
You're listening to Brentford against Swansea in the second leg of the Championship playoffs with Screwfix, proud partner of the EFL. Jim Proudfoot and David Connolly talking you through the action at Griffin Park, where Brentford lead by a 0 on the Knights, 1-1 on aggregate. Watkins, the goal scorer, down for Henry, the former Walsall defender. And then back to side Ben Rama. Ben Rama clipping in inside the box. Oh, little diving header from Marcondes, and it's 2-0. And there didn't appear to be too much danger as it was floated in there, and he just stooped and swiveled the neck muscles, and he sends it in past Erwin Mulder into the bottom left-hand corner. And Swansea, who had the advantage 20 minutes ago, now with work to do. It's Brentford 2, Swansea 0.
Well, it's a marvellous little deft header here from Marcondes, but what did I say just a moment before that? Swansea were getting so deeper and deeper as Brentford build. They're almost in their 6-yard box as Ben Rama cuts in. Just makes it so easy to then have an effort at goal. Wonderful ball in from Ben Rama off this left-hand side on his right peg, in swinging. There's Marcondes completely unmarked, because Swansea are so deep. You could sense it was coming, another goal.
Watkins on 11, Marcondes on 16, Brentford 2, Swansea City 0. And the Swans game plan has to change considerably now. Fall from Gerhi into the centre of the midfield for Matt Grimes, back for Van der Horn. And we talked before the game started about the positive body language amongst the Swansea players, how much they were enjoying the warm-up. It was interesting just looking at the faces of the back three in particular for Swansea once that second goal had gone in, and the heads had dropped, the shoulders had slumped, and Brentford will come again. They've got their opponents on the ropes and they know it. Jensen clipping it over the top, and Berno coming around the back of Gerhi, who stands his ground and gets in the way of the cross, deflects it behind for a corner.
Well, this all starts again because they're so deep. I mean, they're worried about that pacing behind. Obviously it's cost them with the first goal from Watkins, but what that means is just so much, space to drop the ball into. They're able to pass unopposed into Ben Rama, who can set it back, they can get up the pitch. It's just too easy for the Bees at the minute.
Well, Jensen will take it. Corner, the second of the game. Not so many in the 6-yard box this time. Brentford have got 3 starting much deeper. Ben Rama offers himself for the short one, and Grimes goes with him. He's going to be Jensen surely to fire it inside the box, though, as Brentford look to go 3-0 up. The high ball inside the penalty area, headed away by Van der Horn, brought down by Norgard, who couldn't really get any purchase on the shot. Swansea happy just to hammer it upfield, where David Raya, last summer signing from Blackburn Rovers, controls the ball. The goalkeeper well outside his penalty area, and it's flighted forward again, but claimed by Erwin Mulder. Mulder bowling it down towards the right-hand touchline for Connor Roberts. Into the blonde-haired Fulton, and the Scotsman was caught there by Ollie Watkins, and it'll be a free kick which will be taken by Swansea about 10 yards outside their own penalty area by Kyle Norton.
Well, they just need to spend a little bit on the time, get Grimes on the ball, get Fulton on the ball as they are now, spend a bit of time, keep it, get some confidence back. Possession, not too far away from 50-50, slightly in Brentford's favour. Here's Conor Gallagher, first sighted goal for Swansea. Good save, good strong hand from David Raya, and he managed to get it away from the players that were coming in significantly. He poked it away from Connor Roberts, who was trying to follow it up, and Brentford will be able to get it away. But a shot across the bows there from Conor Gallagher. And Swansea very nearly got themselves back into it. Now brilliant skill from Ben Rama. He does for Norton. He's hit the post, and it's rolled almost along the line, and then to safety wide of the far post. What a game this has been. In the first 20 minutes, Brentford 2, Swansea 0, and just moments after an excellent David Raya save at one end denied Gallagher, Ben Rama hits the post at the other. What a game we've got here. I mean, to me, Conor Gallagher should have scored. He's 1v1 with the goalkeeper, Raya. It's not the most powerful strike, it's soft, it's aimed into that far corner, just allow Raya to get down and palm it around. And then at the other end, Ben Rama absolutely brilliant. Skips away from Roberts, then he's ducked on the inside again with his right peg, comes off the inside of the post.
So much spin on the ball as it came back off the post. As I say, it almost rolled right along the line, but then just evaded the far post and went to safety from a Swansea perspective. Let off for them, let off for Brentford seconds before it. Grimes, this isn't going to end 2-0, I promise you that. Emiliano Marcondes, the scorer of the goal that has given Brentford the aggregate lead, finds Jensen. Jensen sitting deep, clipping it over the top. Rico Henry does brilliantly. He's run forward some 60 yards. Van der Horn gets on the end of a disappointing cross and pumps it forward long. Ayew comes to meet it and head it on, but it was picked up by David Raya. He gets it clear, left-footed. Watkins trying to help it on. Van der Horn making life difficult for him, and Watkins ended up missing his kick. Swansea break quickly. Ryan Brewster to Ayew on the right-hand side of the area. He's trying to take on Pinnock, but has stumbled at the most inopportune moment, lost his footing, and Pinnock is there to clear. Ben Rama helping it on in the midfield. Watkins with his back to the direction of play works it out wide for Mark Collins. He's got so much space. You can see Steve Cooper on the end just throwing his arms in the air, saying to Van der Horn, you've got to get closer. Watkins has always just been able to take the ball down, do whatever he wants with it. He's got to get tighter, Van der Horn. Those are thoughts of David Connolly here at Griffin Park, with Brentford leading 2-0 on the night and 2-1 on aggregate. They've got a lousy record in the playoffs. They haven't won any of the last 11 playoff matches that they played in normal time. The last victory coming against Huddersfield in the League One playoff semi-final back in 2002. Last time they were in the playoffs, they lost to Middlesbrough in the Championship playoff semi-final. Jake Bidwell played for them that day. He's in opposition today. Jensen picking it up, riding a poor challenge from Fulton, which incurred the wrath of the Brentford players, but play goes on. There was no advantage, and Swansea can now bring it away with Ayew. Playing it out towards the Swansea left-hand side. Bidwell working back for Gurhey. Gurhey, the least experienced of all the players on the pitch. It's only the 23rd senior game of his career tonight. Here's Kyle Norton. Back for Van der Horn. There's so much of this season through injury. Worked forward by him to Grimes, who's been an ever-present. Now back for Van der Horn again. Brentford just sitting that little bit deeper, allowing Swansea to bring the ball forward so far. Down towards Roberts. Roberts to Ryan Brewster, the striker on loan from Liverpool, holding it up well, working it back for Kyle Norton. Back from him to Van der Horn. Gurhey to his left. And that is the pass that he plays. Mark Gurhey inside the centre circle. Excellent elevation on the pass out towards Bidwell on the Swansea left. Work back by him to Grimes, to Gurhey, back for Grimes again, who can turn in possession this time and bring it forward. All of this, though, is only about 10 yards inside Brentford territory. Swansea keeping possession but going sideways with it, not going forwards at the moment. And then Fulton has gone through with his right foot. It's cannon back off his left. It actually breaks quite kindly for Swansea for a moment. Rico Henry works it back forward for Brentford. Van der Horn beats Watkins in the air, and Grimes will have it now. Grimes to Brewster. Great awareness of what was around him. Little back heel flick from him to Roberts, to Norton. Norton working it through the midfield. Grimes again, sliding in. Ben Rama can't get there. Fulton tries to turn it round the corner and can't. Gets a second opportunity, finds a U. He tries to turn. What a pass that is with the outside of the boot. Chipped in by Roberts. Arriving at the far post was Bidwell, but it was a difficult opportunity with Brentford players coming across his line of vision, and it's hit him and gone out of play for a goal kick.
It's breathless though, isn't it? They've already restarted play here, David Raya. I mean, Bidwell probably couldn't quite see the flight of the ball there. Good ball to the back post from one wing back to the other. It's absolutely, it just hasn't stopped, does it? But again, look, Swansea's so deep, allowed Marcondes there just to receive in the pocket under no real pressure. Already they're at the Swans penalty box.
With Brian and Burmo. Gurhey standing strong. Loose ball though, breaks for Dalsgaard. Back from Burmo again onto his left foot, clipped in. Van der Horn with an important header away. Still falls though for Ben Rama. Left hand side of the penalty area. Back from him towards Jensen, who cleverly takes Gallagher out of the picture. Picked up then by Norgard. And Burmo again, 25 yards out. He misses the target and will have a drinks break. That first quarter of the game has absolutely flown by. And you think this could end up being one of the real classic playoff semi-finals. Brentford 2, Swansea 0. Inside the opening 15 minutes or so, goals from Watkins and Marcondes. 2-1 Brentford leading on aggregate.
Well, would they want that drinks break? If you're Thomas Frank, probably not. I mean, it's been absolutely breathless, I've got to say. They've been brilliant. They really have. I mean, the goals they've scored have been top quality. Absolute top. Everything he talked about pre-game, they've delivered on. They really have. I can't tell you. They've been absolutely superb.
Well, we've got more live football coming up for you tomorrow night. Fulham Cardiff at Craven Cottage, just a few miles away from here, has got some living up to on the strength of this, but David and I will be there for that. Hugh in the chair from 7 o'clock, and TalkSport exclusive tomorrow. Then Saturday, the FA Cup final, Arsenal against Chelsea. That kicks off at 5:30. Mark Saggers, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce, the TalkSport team for that. Next Tuesday night, the Championship playoff final at Wembley. Will it be Fulham? Will it be Cardiff? Brentford or Swansea? Two of those going head-to-head next Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, the European action starts again. David alongside me for Inter Milan against Getafe in the Europa League last 16. That kicks off at 8 next Wednesday night. And then Wolves Olympiacos on Thursday. So we're in the thick of the summer, but the live football continues on the TalkSport network. Might not see a game as good as this one. It has been sensational so far.
Well, although look, Thomas Frank for Brentford wouldn't have wanted that drinks break, Steve Cooper certainly would. Now I'm sure he would have said to his back three, you haven't laid a glove on any of them. You know, we got to get closer. You know, Van der Horn, you got to get right up. You know, Watkins backside, you really have. He's got to feel your breath. Put one on him. You know, it just hasn't got close enough to affect him. They've completely dominated that Brentford front three. They have dominated Swansea completely. Ben Rama's been brilliant. I saw him really sulking against Barnsley, but he's back to his brilliant best here.
Well, you're listening to TalkSport. Following us tonight here on the on kick-off, Jordan Jarrett Bryan and Jason Cundy taking your calls on the Sports Bar. 08717 223344. Will we be reacting to a Brentford victory or Swansea coming from behind on the night and on aggregate to be able to book their place at Wembley? Have restarted after Erwin Mulder's long goal kick goes out towards the far touchline. Play will restart. Is it going to be a throw over there on the far side for Brentford or a free kick? It is a throw, which Dalsgaard will take. The white empty seats that spell out the Bees in with the red seats all around them over on the far touchline. Dalsgaard will take the throw from just in between the two E's of Bees, and it's a good throw as well. And Watkins inexplicably has rolled his man and found Ben Rama, who can't hit the target. Well, he was only 10 yards out and he dragged it well wide. It then came back off Van der Horn, and Mulder was able to pick it up. But again, it was just so easy. One throw forward, Watkins rolling his man, and Ben Rama should have made it 3.
Right, it's incredible. I mean, it's I can't believe what I'm witnessing here. I mean, Dalsgaard with a simple throw, he's looked down the line but played a beautiful, long, hard, low throw straight into the feet of Watkins, who's then spun it round the corner to Benrahma, who's 1v1, it's on his left leg, left side of the box. Not the cleanest of strikes. He's actually going horribly wide, but the simplicity at which they got at that Swansea backline, again, too deep. They're so deep, Jim. They're almost within one ball on the edge of their box. They've got to get up the pitch, but it's the pace of Brentford that's really scaring them.
81 points they picked up over the course of the regular campaign. It was 11 more than Swansea. And coming into this game, no kind of immediate format. A long winning run. 8 wins in a row. And then 3 defeats in a row when it mattered most, including the first leg the other night. But they've been sensational tonight so far. Jensen to Rico Henry. Back from Henry to Jensen again on halfway. Everything gravitating through him in the midfield at the moment. Now Janssen, the former Leeds man, poking it forward. And will do so again as it came straight back to him. Benrahma picking it up in a more central area. Little 1-2 with Watkins, who having played the pass then spins and tries to find space between two of the centre halves. Benrahma teasing it over the top, but Gerhi blocked the run of Watkins and it's gone out of play for a goal kick. 2-0 to Brentford here on TalkSport.
Yeah, their football's been absolutely fantastic. I've got to say, Brentford, they're moving it so well, so quickly. 1 and 2 touch play. Swansea just can't get close to them at the minute. And if they got through to half-time at only 2-0, I think Cooper will be pleased.
Gerhi in possession for Steve Cooper's travelling Swansea City. Ball clear towards halfway. Commanding header, almost finding Watkins. In fact, it did, but he was in an offside position. Turner put the ball in the net anyway, but an easy call for the assistant referee, Dan Cook, over on the far touchline. And the free kick given Swansea's way. They did have a poor record against top half opposition over the course of the regular season, actually, Swansea. Just 21 points from 22 games, only 5 teams all through the division, one fewer than that. They're struggling again tonight.
Well, look, a couple of times now Ayu's won that first flick on, but there's no one really gambling in behind. Once Brewster and Ayew obviously have come short to the ball, that's where Gallagher's got to make that run in behind. He's got to be the one gambling at the minute. There's no one. It's just keep coming. It's wave after wave of attack. If they can't secure the possession, that front three for Swansea, back under pressure.
7 attempts to 2 in Brentford's favour so far. We've got the ball now with Pinnock working it forward into the feet of Jensen. Jensen knocking it away from Fulton. Little give and go with Norgard, and then just got caught. Michael came out and flicked Jensen. The free kick goes Brentford's way, about 10 yards inside their own half, on the left-hand side of midfield.
Well, nothing's really stopped for Brentford. I mean, they've continued, haven't they, in the same vein. Still moving that ball so quickly. And Swansea, I don't think nothing changed for them either. Still not getting tight enough, still too deep. Too much room for the players to operate. And here's Benrahma again, here we go.
Finding Jensen. Jensen has got movement to his right-hand side. Marcondes, all just past Watkins. And it was picked up by the diving Mulder. But that time it was Emiliano Marcondes, one of the 3 in midfield who could come forward and attack the space, and there was no one there with him. And so much of that is down to the fact that Benrahma's dropping into these pockets, Fulton is going with him, and Grimes has got everyone else to deal with almost on his own at times. Norton into the feet of Fulton. Fulton back for Van der Horn, who will chip it forward. Picked off though by Rico Henry. Henry down the line to Watkins in his bright yellow boots. Takes it down towards the corner flags. Already scored his 26th goal of the season tonight. Norgard. Back from him to Pinnock. Pinnock to the relatively small blonde-haired Jensen. To the darker, thicker set Norgard now making his way forward. Back from him to Jensen again. Marcondes on the right-hand side of the midfield. Gets away from 2 Swansea players. Bidwell coming and engaging along with Rhian Brewster. Pinnock now will be able to bring it forward. Tall, excellent ball playing centre-half. Works it inside the penalty area, and Burma was the target of the delivery. Bidwell and Gerhi between them get it away. And it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Brentford right-hand side by Henrik Dalsgaard, the Danish international. Big Danish influence in the team here, of course, with Brentford leading 2-0.
You can see the 2 centre-halves have gone up for this, Janssen and Pinnock. We've already seen Dalsgaard. He can reach from this sort of distance, almost level with the penalty box.
Hurls it in almost to the 6-yard box. It wasn't the 6-yard box by the time Van der Horn headed it away. Back he comes in a second time, and Ayew headed that one clear. And then two Swansea players go for the same ball. Norton ends up on the deck. But the play will stop for the subsequent challenge that comes in on the midfield. And it will be a free kick which will be taken by Swansea about 15 yards or so inside their own half. Conor Gallagher, the player that was caught. So much work for Swansea to do to not just get back into the game. Of course, they're only one behind on aggregate, but it's just to redress the balance, because at the moment there feels an inevitability that Brentford will score again before too long. Here's Gerhi. Gerhi back for Van der Horn. Van der Horn turning it square again to Mark Gerhi. Grimes retreats. Out it goes towards Bidwell. Bidwell into the feet of Ryan Brewster, who scored 10 goals. An excellent record for him away from home. He's led in each of his last 3 away matches. Awkward control from Roberts. He used his left hand and his thigh. The officials said that the handball was accidental. You will be able to bring it forward on the right hand side of the penalty area. Can't find a way past Henry, who then just rescues the situation to make sure that he doesn't concede what would have been Swansea's first corner of the night, but they do have a good throw.
Well, certainly the rest of the Swansea players aren't really on the game, but Ayew is. I mean, he's shown some lovely little touches so far. Little nutmegs there on Jensen and got round the other side. He's looked really sharp.
Roberts launching a long throw inside the penalty area, which Pinnock attacks and heads clear. Now it comes towards the corner of the penalty area again on the left-hand side for Swansea. Bidwell working in inside the box. Henry not too sure what was on around him. Turns it away, and this is Swansea's first corner. David Connor.
Yeah, he did right there. Rico Henry didn't know, as you say, what was around him. I think Connor Roberts was lurking. Couldn't take any chances, heading it back into play. We saw that against Barnsley, didn't we? Pontus Janssen heading one back into play. Didn't know what was around him. Took no chances, gone out for a corner.
And it's a corner which will be taken on the Swansea right-hand side. So it's the cue for plenty of black shirts to make their ways forward into the penalty area. Norton hasn't gone. Nearly everyone else has. It's swung him very deep towards the back post. Good header away came from Dalsgaard. And Jensen will get to the second ball ahead of Conor Gallagher. And then will try and turn under pressure on the touchline. And just puts it straight out of play for a throw. Gerhi goes across to take it, but is told to leave it to Bidwell. Bidwell takes the throw, finds Mark Gerhi. Now to Matt Grimes in the midfield, who, like Ollie Watkins, really applied his trade and learned his trade down in the southwest at Exeter City. Forward it comes to Norton in the midfield. Norton's ball out to the right for Roberts. Curved ball inside the box, coming to meet him, slightly awkward from Janssen. Scuffed the clearance. Helped further away by Mark Condes. And out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Swansea right-hand side by Norton, still in Brentford territory. We've got 11 to go to half-time. Brentford 2 up on the night with goals inside the first 15 minutes or so from Watkins and Marcondes. Ben Rama's since hit the post after Gallagher missed a great chance at the other end. That's just calmed down a little after the hair and scare and frantic opening 20 minutes of the game. Roberts playing it forward. Ryan Brewster tried to turn, lovely nutmeg of Pinnock. But coming across the cover, it was Norgard that got it away. Headed back in field from Watkins on the left-hand touchline, but Norton wins it back. Played down the touchline towards Watkins again from the Brentford midfield. Fulton. Chip forward, Pinnock heads away. Neither side able to get a grip of the ball at the moment in the midfield, but Matt Grimes can do that as he brings it forward. And then a foul on Emiliano Marcondes will give Brentford a free kick about 5 yards in from the left-hand touchline in a not dissimilar area outside their own box. 2-0 to Brentford on the night. They lead 2-1 on aggregate.
Well, they've really struggled getting the ball into the box, Swansea, haven't they? A couple of times they've got it out wide with one of their wings backs. You know, on the right-hand side it's Roberts. He's looked up, not really a lot on. He can't really go to feet, so he's slung in a deep cross. Easy to defend for Brentford. They need to really look a little bit harder, progress closer to the box, Swansea.
Here's Ethan Pinnock, who has won a playoff final in his career in the past with the Forest Green. Helped them get promoted into the league for the first time under Mark Cooper. Pinnock now finds Pontus Janssen. Janssen to Jensen. Ben Rama slipped off the ball. It was worked for by Gerhi, but he couldn't find Gallagher. Two players who've grown up together, developed their games simultaneously at Chelsea, both on loan at Swansea for the rest of this season.
Well, look where they're moving though. Look where Ben Rama did fall over. You know, on the opposite flank to where he's starting. I mean, he's coming off his perch, so to speak, so often. Very fluid, almost Leeds-esque how they're performing here with their rotations, Brentford. No one's really fixed
Watkins peeling out to the left-hand touchline, finds Ben Rama. Ben Rama with the pace to get away from Norton onto his right foot, but sends it wide, hitting it with cut spin with the outside of the right boot, maybe the top of the boot, across the ball but wide of the far post.
Ronaldo-esque, that sort of effort, wasn't it? Cutting in off the left-hand side, really stiff ankle, gone with the laces, maybe didn't quite twist his hips enough. But he's been a live wire, he's been absolutely brilliant, Ben Rama, been everywhere. I saw him against Barnes, as I said earlier, and he had the strop on, things didn't go his way, his body language was poor. He's back on it here, really is.
You're listening to Brentford against Swansea in the second leg of the Championship playoffs with Screwfix, here when you need us. Van der Horn playing out from the back to find Mark Gurhey. Gurhey just dropping it down to the feet of Grimes, whose long ball forward is headed on by Brewster. He can't find a way past Janssen. Janssen will mop up, shepherd it back to his goalkeeper. Don't forget, from 4 a.m. every weekday morning, you can download the new TalkSport Daily podcast. It'll include some of the best bits from TalkSport, and if you miss any reaction from tonight's matches, that'll be ready for you tomorrow morning as well. It's the TalkSport Daily, which you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Acast. At the moment, it'll be Thomas Frank will be much the happier of the two managers in the post-match interview, but there's a long way to go yet. 8 minutes left in the first half, second half to come, maybe extra time as well. Ball is on the right-hand side of the Swansea midfield with Connor Roberts. He works it back for Norton. Norton to Grimes. Grimes looks up and sees that Bidwell have made an excellent run, holding the width right out on the left-hand touchline. He's played him in. He works it inside the box for Gallagher, who, in trying to keep the ball in, has lunged in and caught his man. Janssen's gone down. So collided with the hoardings. He's all right, though. And there'll be a free kick which will be taken by Brentford inside their own penalty area, leading tonight by 2 goals to 0.
Well, that's a good opening from Swansea. Worked the ball from right over to the left-hand side to Bidwell, the really high left-sided wing-back. Plays a ball into Gallagher inside the box. First time we've seen that, but it's more of a 50-50 really. He's got no chance of controlling it under pressure from Janssen, and he takes it off the pitch. Just that quality in around the box has been sadly lacking for Swansea, whereas at the other end, Brentford been absolutely brilliant.
I say that Pontus Jansson's going to be all right. He's got up, back to his feet. He's gone down again on his haunches. And referee Kavanagh has gone over there, having stopped play, and is now waving the Brentford medical team on so that can have any treatment that is necessary. There can't have been the impact from Gallagher. It must have been how he fell. Haven't got replays here at Griffin Park tonight, so I can't really enlighten you. He is holding his ankle, though. I don't know whether he collided with the hoardings or whether he just planted that ankle and then twisted as he came down. But he is back on his feet now. He's going to be all right. He'll be able to continue. Brentford warming up the substitutes as a precaution. Just having a look down the list, Julien Jambier, the Guinean international centre-half, may well be the man who would come on to replace him if he can't continue. But he's okay. He's just making his way over towards the touchline. He'll be way back on in a moment. The play will restart very shortly as the sun begins to set behind the Brook Road end away to our left-hand side. All of the pitch encased in shadow now on this Griffin Park Swan song, on a night when the Swans haven't been on song. 2-0 down, and lucky that it is only 2. The aggregate deficit just the 1. 1 moment of magic and they're right back in it. Here's Grimes bringing it forward, unable to find a way past Dalsgaard, the right back, and Burma into the feet of Watkins. Watkins just drawing Norton out of position, lays it back for Henry. Henry's ball down the left-hand touchline. Everyone aware to the movement what Watkins was going to provide, but Van der Horn came out and patrols the centre-half line very well for Swansea, and the Dutchman lays it forward for Fulton, whose ball evades a Bidwell, much to his frustration, right in front of the Brentford bench. Couldn't control that, maybe worried about where the ball was going to go next, and it's gone out for a throw that will be taken over on the Brentford right-hand side. They lead by 2 goals to 0, 2-1 up on aggregate, with 4.5 minutes to go to half-time. And Watkins again in space, found from a throw on the touchline. Watkins is playing in a central area, 8 yards outside the corner flanks. The second time they've been able to find him with that throw.
But you know why? I mean, I'm looking at Watkins. Forget the thrower. I'm looking at Watkins. What he'd done there, when the thrower had the ball, he ran as if he was going down the line. Van der Horn went with him. Then he ducked back inside. Really good movement. That suddenly bought himself 10 yards. Then he receives it completely unmarked. And that's the hallmark of a really good striker. It's the work that happens off the ball. He's done it so well. Wonderful performance from Watkins.
Gurhey's ball forward, peels for handball against Janssen, who's back on the pitch. He missed it with his right foot and then bounced awkwardly and sat up. No intent. Brentford work it forward. Watkins to Ben Rama. Ben Rama with Fulton snapping at his heels, and he's done well as Jay Fulton to win it back. Van der Horn clips it under pressure. Good pressure from Norgard. Straight out of play for a throw, which is appreciated by the Brentford representatives around us. Here's Marcondes. Work forward. Norgard. And then Connor Roberts tumbled over Norgard's leg and wins a free kick.
Well, Watkins and Ben Rama have one of those nights, one of those games that you dream of, like Roy the Rovers. Whatever you do, it's just coming off. You're having a game of your life. Every time the ball has gone in Watkins, he's stuck. He's done something with it. He's brought people into the game. He's looked such a threat. Same with Ben Rama. Those two have been absolutely sensational.
Gurhey, wonderful pass from him. And then Connor Roberts will just ease it up the right-hand side of the penalty area for the run of Andre Ayew. He's got his back to the direction of play as well now. Forced wide by Pinnock, who's happy to follow him out of centre-half into a wider position. You try to utilise that. In it comes from Fulton, blocked by the nearest of the Brentford players. It was Henry. Brought down at the back by Van der Horn as the loose ball ricocheted towards halfway. Gurhey's got it again. Runs past Jensen, supplier of that divine pass for the first goal, and possession has been turned over. 3 against 2, and Burma making the run. He's goal side of Van der Horn inside the area. Van der Horn's done enough to stand him up and force him wide, and he goes out of play for a goal kick. What an opportunity for Brentford.
Oh, he should have done better, but the problem is he's a left foot. He receives it down the right-hand side of the box. He always wants to get it back on his left peg, but as Gurhey was travelling into the Brentford half, I was like, oh no, this is trouble. That is exactly what Brentford want, because they crowd it out, they force the ball inside. He's a right footer playing left centre-half, so he's always going to come infield. They crowd him out, win possession, suddenly there's acres of space against that back three of Swansea. And look, so runnable. What they need though, Brentford, they need that third goal. They really do, to kill this tie. They need to get it now when they're in the ascendancy.
Well, they've had their opportunities, and you sense that Steve Cooper's going to be able to get much more of a tune out of Swansea in the second half than he has so far. It's a big 15 minutes in his young managerial career that is coming up. But you just sense that Brentford maybe need to seize the chance and get a little bit of insurance in terms of the aggregate lead. A magnificent first half performance from them. 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, but nothing in the last half hour or so. We've only got a few seconds left in the first half. There will be a bit of stoppage time to be added on, and maybe a bit more. Ayew's gone down holding his head, and Chris Kavanagh has to stop it. He does now. Brentford have worked the ball out towards the right-hand side, but the referee, absolutely right, mandated to stop it there. Ayew is lying on his back with both hands crossed on the top of his head and in need of treatment from the Swansea medical staff. The fourth official tonight is David Coote, who's standing with the numbers board, and we will find out in a few moments' time how many extra minutes are to be added. But for Swansea, they needed to be just a few, because Brentford so much in the ascendancy. Well,
look, they've expended an awful lot of energy, both centre forwards. You know, Watkins is down on his haunches. Ayew's lying on the deck, but Watkins is down on his haunches because he's exhausted. I mean, you know, they have put so much effort into that first 45. You never know, that might just carry them through to the Premier League. We'll have to wait and see. You know, it's been breathless, it really has. He's been superb, Watkins. What a performance, one of the best I've seen this season. Absolutely outstanding. Every time he's come into him, he's made it stick, he's twisted, he's turned, he's brought movement, he's brought space, time. He's always offered a threat in behind, he's come short. I mean, you know, he's not the biggest of centre forwards, but he plays like he is. Playing like a giant.
Don't miss the Sports Breakfast tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. Napoli Sawyer will be alongside Ray Parlour, and they'll be joined by former Celtic and Blackburn striker Chris Sutton as he discusses his new upcoming book. From 8 o'clock, the former Spurs midfielder Jamie O'Hara will also be on the show. Just a reminder, every afternoon for the rest of this week on TalkSport 2, there's commentary of all the big races from glorious Goodwood. Not missing anything at the moment. Rather ominously, Ayew is still receiving treatment, and careful treatment as well from the Swansea medical staff. So
it was a cloud, sort of, you know, I've been on the receiving end of plenty of them from a big ugly centre-half. Not saying Janssen is an ugly centre-half, but normally big ugly centre-halves clatter you from behind and make it look as if, you know, nothing was intended, but they know what they're doing, leaving one on you.
The thumb up is an encouraging sign from the Swansea physio, You making his way off now. 2 additional minutes to be played at the end of this first half, and those 2 minutes will only start when play resumes. Should resume with a drop ball. Chris Kavanagh will just go across and take the ball now from Jensen, who's making the point that Brentford were in a very good attacking position when the referee stopped play. We'll drop it at the feet of Jensen in a moment. Brentford 20 yards inside the Swansea City half. Ayew is okay. He's going to be waved back on the field as soon as play does resume. Matt Grimes is standing as close to the referee as he thinks he can get away with, but of course all drop balls are uncontested these days. He's dropped at the feet of Jensen, back out towards the right-hand side for Dalsgaard, who will make his way forward, finds him Burmo cutting it onto his left foot, back for Jensen, high swinging ball forward. Watkins sensed he was offside, couldn't go for it, and it missed him anyway, and it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Swansea right-hand side by Kyle Norton. Swans trailing by 2-0, only beaten 4 times on the road all season, but one of them was here. They also lost at West Brom, and Stoke and Fulham, and they're 2 down tonight. This is a ground where they've got a great record. They've won 3 of their last 4 matches here, including a playoff semi-final back in 2006. And the first leg ended 1-1 in South Wales, and then Leon Knight scored both the goals for the Swans that day, and Swansea won 2-0 and 3-1 in aggregate. But at the moment it's Brentford who are leading 2-0 in the second leg here. Connor Robertson, Swansea make a bit of ground up the right-hand touchline, launches another throw, Marcondes flicking it on, Grimes able to win the seconds in the midfield. He goes back for Gurhey, out towards Bidwell wearing 24, white numbers visible from here on the back of the black shirts, right over on the far touchline. Conor Gallagher hasn't made as much of an impact tonight as he did in the first leg, laying it back for Gurhey, out to Bidwell again, Bidwell turning it back, good ball retention here from Swansea, but time against him in this first half, and then as Grimes plays it forward, he's missed Bidwell, and he goes out of play for a Brentford throw. It's excellent the defending there by Brentford, attacking the ball, putting the pressure on, and the intensity of the press means it'll be a Brentford throw. And that might be just about the last action of the first half. Hurled forward down the line. Again looking for Watkins to try and spin his man. It was Gurhey that he got himself isolated against that time. Pinnock heads it forward, returned in kind by Fulton. Pinnock's ball forward, and Burma comes back from an offside position to meet it, but there will be no time to take the free kick, and the big roar of approval from the people in here with the Brentford connection. They'll be delighted with what they've seen. That has been a vintage Brentford performance. The kind of 45 minutes that took them to within just a smattering of points from a place in the Premier League at the first time of asking. Well, they didn't do themselves justice in South Wales, but they've been brilliant tonight. And at half-time, thanks to goals from Watkins and Marcondes, they lead Swansea 2-0 on the night and 2-1 on aggregate. And it is a double change that they've made. Ben Cabango has come on for Mike van der Hoorn at centre-half. And the other change sees Jan Dander replace Jay Fulton in midfield. So, Swansea rotating the pack, a double change at half-time as they try and get themselves back into this game. And that might be the last time Peter Gillam ever says that at Griffin Park, but you never know. Get to extra time, he'll still have another 2 left. Here's Cabango, first touch for him as we're back underway. And Swansea in their change kit tonight of black with a very dark green trim, in possession straight away with Gallagher working the ball down to the left-hand side for Gurhey, and Gurhey's ball forward is a decent one. Just headed on inside the penalty area, but it'll be picked up comfortably by David Raya. So just having a look across, they've kept the same shape for now. Gallagher's playing deeper. That's the change they made. And Dander is playing as a 10 in behind Ayew and Brewster. But here's Ben Rama. Play that towards the left-hand touchline for Watkins, and back in towards Ben Rama again. Loose ball breaking for the hugely impressive Jensen. Jensen to Rico Henry on the overlap, left-footed ball in from Henry, volleyed in for 3-0. You can make all the changes you like, but if you don't defend a high ball inside the penalty area, it isn't going to make any difference. Brian and Burmo with the goal, sweeping home a left-footed volley. They got to the byline, worked in, and seconds into the second half, Brentford go 3-0 up, and that is a monumental step towards a Wembley final next Tuesday.
Well, look, we said that third goal was really important. They didn't get it in the first half, but it's not long after in the second. Another wonderful move from Brentford, feeds it out wide. You got Rico Henry on the overlap, terrific little cross, gets to the byline. I think it just might have just missed Watkins, went over one defender. There's Mbreno on the volley, hits it into the ground. The goalkeeper again didn't move.
Brian and Burmo, who scored in both of the league games against Swansea this season, up to 17 goals for the campaign, 16 of them in Brentford colours, and 3-1 up on aggregate. Feels like a big lead. They had plenty of moments in the first half to go 3-0 up on the night, not least when Benrahma hit the post. Swansea still just haven't been able to create anything as yet.
Well, that change, that personnel change, I mean, I was very critical of Van der Hoorn. It just didn't get close enough to Watkins, but as it is now, I'm not too sure Cabango will either. I'm not too sure whoever plays there is going to get close to that front three.
It's Benrahma for Marcondes, playing themselves into a Wembley final, playing themselves back into form tonight as well, as things stand. Still a long time for Swansea to be able to get themselves back into this, of course, but they need 2 without reply from here to take it to extra time. Norgard, Jensen into the feet of Marcondes on the edge of the D. Jensen with a little backheel flick. Dander is in there to temporarily win it back for Swansea, but only temporarily. In it comes from Benrahma towards Watkins on the edge of the penalty area. Gallagher in a slightly deeper role in the second half can deal with Jensen's threat and knock it away. High up and under from him. Pinnock coming to meet it with a U, and the Swansea player has won it back, guides it back for Norton, who can clear down the touchline. Henry, though, has kept it in. Feeds Jensen. Well tackled by Conor Gallagher. Did well to win it back there. Now it comes to Grimes. Grimes can pirouette through the midfield. Swansea need to hold their nerve. They need a big 20 minutes to get themselves back into this game. It's not going to be one moment of brilliance or one Brentford mistake now. They need more than that. 3-0 down on the night, 3-1 down on aggregate, and in need of inspiration, and in need of it quickly as well. Brewster picking up the ball from a quick Swansea throw, down by the corner flag. The 20-year-old on loan from Liverpool just laying it back through the midfield. Norton's ball forward. Intercepted, and Benrahma, the opportunity to bring it away. He can't get it too far clear, and Grimes has it. Grimes forward for a U. Roberts making a run on the overlap from him, and here's national manager Ryan Giggs here tonight to watch his performance, and also undoubtedly that of Cabango now that he's come on as well. But the ball has gone out of play this time for a goal kick, which David Raya will take. And it's Brentford 3, Swansea City 0 on the night. 3-1 on aggregate. And you're with TalkSport. David Connolly.
It can be a lonely place on that touchline, and certainly that's how Steve Cooper probably feels now. 3-0 down. Game plan has gone completely out the window. They've been blown away here. Change of personnel, but nothing's really changed in terms of the state of the game, how they performed here. Brentford have been absolutely brilliant. They really have. Question marks over them, wasn't there? You know, in terms of their character, blowing a couple of games. Look, it's not over yet by any means, but still, the response they've shown, defeat against Stoke, obviously, and Barnsley, when they thought they'd blown their chances, still win with a chance. That's for sure.
Well, they'll feel that they've got at least 1 foot at Wembley now for the final, which you can hear live on TalkSport with Dean Ashton alongside Sam next Tuesday. But still work to be done. Swansea trying to make something happen, making their ways forward down the right-hand side. When it's gone out for a Brentford throw. You're listening to Brentford against Swansea in the second leg of the Championship playoffs with Screwfix, trusted by the trade since 1979. Brentford haven't played top-flight football since 1947. Is this going to be their year as they move from Griffin Park? About 3/4 of a mile east of here, a 10-minute walk down to the new Brentford Community Stadium at Kew Bridge, or near Kew Bridge, hemmed in the triangle of railway lines in the M4. It looks fantastic. I haven't been around the new stadium as yet, but you see it from the elevated section of the M4 on your way into London. It looks the business of a new place. Very futuristic looking, perched into that small little corridor of land. Here's Dander for Swansea. dark-haired midfielder. Ball floated inside the box, but it was speculative from Bidwell and easily claimed by David Raya.
Well, from a similar sort of position, wasn't it, to Ben Rama's delivery, but didn't quite have the same quality there. Bidwell with the outside of his left boot straight into the arms of Raya. It's been the difference. When they've got in and around the box, Swansea just haven't had that same quality, nowhere near it.
Gurhey working it forward, might break for Jan Dander on the edge of the penalty area, but Pontus Jansson makes sure that it doesn't. 10 shots to 2 in Brentford's favour over the 51 minutes tonight. That tells its own story. Here's Bidwell making his way forward for Swansea. Sliding challenge in from the retreating Watkins, and he's played it off Bidwell and out of play for a goal kick. Swansea thought they got a corner. I think a few of the Brentford defenders did as well, but it is a goal kick that has been given. David Raya will be in no discernible hurry to take this now, with his side leading by 3-0.
It was great work rate again, wasn't it? That time Watkins defending in and around his own box, chasing down Bidwell. Just look at the shape here from Brentford. They've got a goal kick, 2 centre-halves inside their box, 3 midfielders, well, certainly the 2 sitters. You've got Norgard close, Jensen close, and they make the pitch really big. The front 3 really stretch it, just trying to make this pitch as big as possible so they've got space to play in.
Here's Ayew. Grimes playing it out towards the right-hand touchline for Roberts, and Dander will make the run forward. It probably would have got through to the Brentford goalkeeper, but Janssen wasn't taking any chances, and he clears. Grimes picks it up. Dander's been lively since coming on. He's got it on the edge of the penalty area. Right-footed ball in from him. David Raya electing to punch that one clear with Brewster lurking. Ben Rama can help it further away. Watkins gives it back to him and then sets Watkins going again, does Ben Rama, after the return ball. Watkins sprinting down the right-hand side, and Cabango is claiming that he got the ball, but Chris Kavanagh saw it differently, and it's going to be a yellow card for the Swansea substitute.
Well, fantastic foot race here between Watkins and Cabango, but great hold-up play from Watkins. Little touch inside, lays it off, then he spins. Ben Rama puts him in away. He's got Akers, got grass in behind. About 40 yards to run into, but Cabango comes across, covers well. Does clear out Watkins, though. Actually went into the hoardings, but he seems okay.
Not dissimilar challenge from Rico Henry the other night, actually. But a yellow card, right decision from Chris Kavanagh. Ben Cabango's 4th caution of the season. Still only 20. First player born in the 21st century to represent Swansea in the league. Huge, imposing figure, and he's taking his place in the penalty area now. Brentford flooding the far post there. Is Ben Rama, flights it in. It's a Brentford header. It was Pinnock that met it. He's headed it over the bar from about 9 yards out. There's another well-worked set piece. You know why? Jim really caught Swansea by surprise. They're 2 on the ball, an in-swinger and out-swinger. Everyone thought it was going to be the in-swinger. Instead, it was the out-swinger. Brilliant ball in from Ben Rama. Pinnock just headed it over the bar. But again, they've just been so sharp. Everything they've done, restarts, simple things you can work on the training ground, throw-ins, free kicks, you name it, goal kicks. Everything they've done to such a high level here, Brentford. Here's Ayew. And he's lost that. No, he's won a throw over on the far touchline, which is the Swansea City right. They're kicking from right to left. A reminder of the 2 lineups, incidentally. Brentford, David Raya in goal. Dalsgaard, Janssen, Pinnock and Henry. Janssen, Norgard and Marcondes. And then Mbermo, Watkins and Ben Rama. The BMW taking their scoring productivity this season up to 59 in league and playoff games, with Ben Rama the only one of the 3 who hasn't scored tonight. Ball inside the penalty area now for Watkins. He's offside. Swansea, Mulder in goal. Norton, Cabango's come on for Van der Horn and Gurhey, and then Roberts, Gallagher, Grimes and Bidwell. Dander, who's come on for Fulton, playing at 10, with Ayew and Brewster up front. That's the lineups at the moment. 10 minutes gone in the second half on TalkSport. Jim Proudfoot and David Connolly talking you through the action this last ever game at Griffin Park, and it will be one to remember for everyone of the Brentford persuasion if it stays like this. Gurhey, it's been a brilliant performance from the hosts.
Well, I do have on my notes here, if Brewster scores, it's worth millions. Brewster's millions, but I just can't see that happening so far.
Showing your age, Brewster's millions. Our producer Deck just shaking his head. Not sure. The ball played forward. I'm with you. Be out of the left-hand touchline. One back by Brentford. Norgard, good ball forward from him, but just didn't quite have the legs to get to Mbeumo. And Swansea win it back. Dander's got it in the midfield. Dander on his right foot. Too much on that as he tried to get the U isolated against Henry. And it goes out of play for a goal kick. And Ayew not taking any chances. Goes across and acts as the ball boy himself and will now spot it down on the edge of the 6-yard box for David Raya's goal kick. I bet you any money you like that he moves it. Yes, he has. He clicks it from the left-hand side of the 6-yard box and will put it in a more central position before he clears it.
I mean, that switch of play as well, Jim, from Dander just shows you they don't really have the same width that Brentford possess. You know, when they are switching that ball, Brentford, to make the pitch so big, they always have someone on either flank, whereas Swansea don't. Very narrow shape, very narrow formation. Two centre forwards close to each other, Ayew and Brewster. Dander in behind.
Here's Benrahma. Benrahma making his way down the left-hand touchline, nods it down, tries to get in behind Cabango, but the youngster stuck to his task well, and then Norton wins the throw over on the far touchline, which Swansea looked to take quickly. They took it from the wrong place, which has actually worked pretty well for them, because in launching it forward very quickly down the right-hand touchline, Kyle Norton had put too much on it, and it rolled straight through to the Brentford goalkeeper. But now from a deeper position, the correct position, he might be able to find a man. A couple of balls on the pitch for a moment as the spurious one was retrieved. Gallagher kicks it out of play, and play does resume. It's worked from the Swansea right down towards the left, but Bidwell's control was poor, and it's gone out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Brentford right, and no sign of a potential Swansea fight back at the moment, with Brentford leading 3-0 and 3-1 on aggregate.
Oh, Bidwell struggled. I mean, look, he had 5 seasons here. He was a great servant for Brentford, but he's had a tough game a couple of times now in that more advanced role. His first touch has let him down. His delivery in the box has let him down.
Remember, more than 200 appearances in a Brentford shirt. One promotion from League One as a B back in 2014. The former Everton trainee, but very much a Swansea player. Benrahma lays it off for Norgard. Dalsgaard in his white boots makes his way forward down the right-hand touchline. Very tall full-back, laying it back in for Norgard. Norgard into the pockets of space. Marcondes picks it up and spins it with an excellent first-time ball out towards Mbeumo. Mbeumo on his left foot in behind Benrahma, who's just trying to walk onto it on the edge of the penalty area. And Conor Gallagher and Grimes have done well to be able to win it back, and Swansea will be able to play the way out from the back with Cabango. He's just rolled it to the edge of the D. Gallagher taking it on the turn. Tired ball forward from Gurhey. Couldn't find Bidwell. Swansea do pick it up again. Well, they're just lacking that forward pass. A couple of times, look at Gallagher, he's gone sideways rather than playing forward. They're sort of playing safe within themselves at this moment. Someone's got to take a risk. He's got to gamble here. Back he goes for Gurhey to Bidwell. Worked in field towards Matt Grimes, the Swansea captain, but again, when they get it, it's very pedestrian, forced to go backwards. Another sideways pass. Someone's got to thread something. You know, try and break a line, split a pass like Jensen does. Gallagher trying to do it there, looking for Ayew, and I think inadvertently Marcondes has stepped on his hand there. He waves him up disdainfully, but that will have hurt. I don't think Marcondes realised what he'd done, as he just turned at Ayew and just waved him up, but he clearly inadvertently stood on his hand. Ayew is not very happy. With the cue for the Swansea medical staff to come back onto the field. Well, he's had a little bit of rough treatment, hasn't he, Ayew? I mean, that sort of head injury in the first half from Dalsgaard, and that one from Marcondes. Obviously, they do know he's the one to mark. You're listening to us here on TalkSport at Griffin Park, following us here on Kickoff. Sports Bar with Jordan Jarrett, Bryan and Jason Cundy, taking your calls. 08717 22 3344 is the number. What was your verdict of your Premier League team's season? D-, Jordan gave Arsenal. Your thoughts on that and plenty more. Have your say on national radio from 10 p.m. tonight. All the reaction from this game to come as well. Sports Breakfast tomorrow morning with Natalie from 6 alongside Ray Parler and Chris Sutton. We'll be discussing his new upcoming book, Jamie O'Hara, with the guys from 8 o'clock. And a reminder that every afternoon for the rest of this week on TalkSport 2, there's commentary of all the big races from glorious Goodwood. And from 4 a.m. every weekday morning, you can also download the new TalkSport Daily podcast, which will include some of the best bits from TalkSport. And if you miss any reaction from tonight's matches, it'll be ready for you tomorrow morning. The TalkSport Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or Acast. Well, you're not missing anything on the field because Ayew's just having that hand bandaged up by the look of it. The Swansea physio is between us and him, but it looks as though they're just putting some creperie over the wrist, over the hand, and he's going to be back on his feet and able to continue. But it did look like a sore one, and in the 2 minutes that he's been down receiving treatment, a time just for the Swans to try and assess what they need to do. But something has to change with 16 minutes gone of the second half and Brentford leading 3-0 on the night. Ayew making his way off, still wincing and grimacing just down in front of us as he looks at the referee, asking for permission to come back on. He's waved on now by referee Kavanagh. Grimes has got the ball. Grimes playing it forward, just away from Ayew, and it'll drift down by the corner flag and try to play for a goal kick, which will be taken in front of the Brook Road end away to our left-hand side by David Raya. Brentford leading by 3 goals to 0. 1947, as I mentioned earlier, the last time they played in the top flight, the last time that they won promotion to the top flight, the only time they've done it in their history, with an away win at Bradford Park Avenue. And if it's going to come this time, it'll be in no disrespect, slightly more salubrious surroundings of Wembley, but work to do yet. Bidwell helping it inside the area after he gained possession. Left-hand side of the penalty area, it's laid back to Danda. Danda trying to get away from Mbermo. Back for Bidwell again. Bidwell keeping with what's been a disappointing evening from a player of his high standards, just presented too much of that to Dalsgaard and then goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Brentford right-hand side.
Well, he's a defensive fullback, Bidwell, by trade, but what he's been asked to do in Steve Cooper's new formation is plays almost like a winger, really. I mean, a wing-back, he's playing very, very high, doesn't really have that ability, that skill to beat a player, that creative intelligence that you need. He's a defender by trade, but he's given it his best shot. It's not his game.
Jensen, Benrahma and Burmo in a more central position. Danda gets it away. He's shown up well since coming on, finding Ayew caught by Pinnock. Play goes on, good advantage from the referee. Good ball down the right-hand side for Roberts, who turns inside the area. Left-footed shot from a tight angle, helped over the bar by the goalkeeper. Swansea's best move of the second half by his streak, and David Raya did well, stood his ground and leapt backwards, got a strong hand to it to tip it over the bar for a corner.
Yeah, really good save here, one-handed. Roberts ducks on the inside with his left leg, trying to arrow it into that far corner. It's high, probably a good height for Raya. Stood up well, good hand gone out for a corner.
Corner which will be taken on the left by Gallagher. He's just spotted it down on the corner quadrant. Brewster waits in the 6-yard box. Players making deeper runs. Cabango is the target, was headed away by Janssen. Bounces a little bit awkwardly for Grimes, who, in trying to help it back, knocked it straight into Benrahma. He couldn't make the most of it, and Gurhey wins it back now for Swansea towards the edge of the area. Good ball from him. Bidwell's ball back towards Gurhey, knocked away by Norgard. Cleared out for Gallagher. Gallagher's right-footed ball inside the penalty area, headed away by the retreating Janssen. And back it comes again, down towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Swansea's ball in, looking for Gurhey, who's still forward. Norgard slams it away, and it's grateful to get the ball into Swansea's half of the field. That's the first bit of real intense pressure that Swansea have been able to muster.
Yeah, but again, that ball into the box really lets them down. Bidwell again on this left-hand side. Disappointing delivery. Far too easily cut out. Just need a bit more quality in around the box. They're really going to cut open this Brentford team.
65 gone. 3-0 to Brentford, 3-1 on the night. Well, 3-0 on the night, I beg your pardon, 3-1 on aggregate. Gallagher working it to Norton. Norton's ball forward. Gallagher turning away from Benrahma in the midfield. He's becoming more influential now, Gallagher. Bidwell. Swansea having more possession now, as you would expect. They're getting to a stage where they're having to gamble, they're having to take risks, flood more bodies forward. Cabango finds Norton. Norton back for Gallagher in a slightly deeper role in this second half. Out towards Bidwell again. Bidwell dragging onto his left foot, right-footed ball inside the box. Commanding header away came from Janssen, only as far as Kyle Norton. Norton's ball in, clipped round the corner by Danda. An opportunity potentially inside the penalty area for Roberts, who's done well to hold it up. Norton back for Danda again. His cross blocked by Jensen, helped him from Gallagher, and the header from Brewster from the edge of the penalty area is saved by the diving David Raya, who just collapses onto him. I think Brentford thought that he should have had a free kick for an offside anyway, but play allowed to continue, and David Raya made a comfortable save.
But that defence from Brentford works so hard. When the ball goes backward, they squeeze up the pitch, so suddenly when they're heading it at goal there, they're heading it almost on the 18-yard box. That makes it a comfortable save. Contrast that with Swansea. Benrahma in-swing delivery. You know, you're talking Marcondes heading from 6 yards out. That's the difference. So well drilled. Brentford back four, it really is.
Pinnock goes back to his goalkeeper, and David Raya's long ball forward is headed well by Cabango, climbing over Watkins. Grimes has got it now. Swansea have had more possession in the last 10 minutes than in any previous 10-minute instalment of the game. Norton, though, can't make the most of it when he has it. He's over on the touchline and under pressure. They only chip it forward, and Henry wins it back for Brentford. Now played forward down the left-hand touchline by Mbermo, the scorer of the third Brentford goal. Goes out of play for a throw, and that is the cue for the drinks break midway through the second half, and Brentford 3/4 of the way to Wembley. And
I think that's come at a good time, certainly for Brentford, under a little bit of pressure. Some of their players, as you'd expect, I think, after expending so much energy, you know, physically, emotionally, mentally, preparing for this game, that first 45, you can see it's taken out of him. Watkins, to be honest, he looks a little bit out on his feet, a lot resting on his shoulders, and he's carried that team, and him and Benrahma, but they look a little bit tired now, so they need this break. Whereas Swansea, you know, that's much better from them. Had a couple of attacks, threatened the box. They've really just lacked quality with that final ball in.
Tariq Fosu, one of the Brentford substitutes, has just made his way from the far side, the dugouts at the far side here from the tunnel, and he sprinted across the pitch during this break and made his way back into the dressing room area. Don't know whether that means that his arrival is imminent.
You'd imagine he would look at some fresh legs at some point. Thomas Frank, I guess the challenge is, you know, do you broke, it's not broke, you know, do you change it, I guess. Don't want to disrupt the rhythm they're in. However, the tempo has dropped, the quality has dropped from Brentford in that last sort of 10 minutes, as you'd expect, I think.
So the bottom line for Swansea is that they've got a quarter of the game remaining, and they need 2 unanswered goals to take this to extra time. The lights very much on in the blocks of flats that overlook Griffin Park and the northern side of the stadium. Only a few wisps of pinkish cloud now in the sky as the sun pretty much gone down. Swansea work it forward. And Vermo chasing after it. Gurhey sweeping up and then able to knock it away through the midfield. Grimes takes a touch. And goes back for Mark Gurhey again. And Gurhey works it forward for Grimes a second time. Gallagher tried to find a little bit of space, but he couldn't extricate himself away from Benrahma's clutches, so it went back to Cabango. Now out to the Swansea right for Roberts, working it through the midfield. Danda. He's been lively, dark-haired, relatively diminutive midfielder. Picks it up, finds Bidwell. Back he goes from him to Grimes. Grimes to Gallagher. Gallagher taking it under pressure and off balance, but got it away from Jensen.
But look how high that defence is squeezing from Brentford. The ball goes back, suddenly they're up. I mean, remember first half with Swansea, you know, they'd be receiving in pockets of space, Watkins and the like, under no real pressure.
Cabango's long diagonal headed down towards EU, right hand side of the penalty area. Henry sweeps it away, puts it out for a throw. Should be taken about 12 yards from the corner flag over on the Swansea right. And if they can get one back, it will just be a test of Brentford's mettle. They have it towards the edge of the area to Swansea. Danda back out to Norton. Norton to Danda again. Right-footed ball clipped in. Ayew just rolled away from him, and Pinnock can sweep up and knock it away. Now the counter-attack could be on for Brentford, but Grimes stops Mbermo and then gets a return ball from Gurhey and plays it down to the near touchline of Swansea left for Bidwell. Bidwell controlling it, turning it, 15 yards back behind square for Matt Grimes. Grimes now to Gallagher. Gallagher out to Norton. Swansea trying to use the full width of the pitch with Roberts. High cross far too deep for Brewster and Ayew, and it's just catching practice for David Raya, and all of a sudden there are less than 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, the 2 wing-backs just haven't delivered enough with enough quality for Swansea. Got no real chance if you're putting balls in like that. As you say, catching practice for Raya. But again, look at the defence. They clear the ball from Raya. That back four from Brentford is almost on the halfway line now. There isn't the same sort of space to operate in that Brentford have. You know, they compress it, make it so difficult. You've got to be really on your game, be able to perform in tight spaces. They haven't been able to, Swansea. Very high line. Ball goes back again. Look, the Brentford back four is up on the halfway line. No space to move in. Compressed, and they've won back the ball.
And Cabango with a slightly misdirected back pass, which just caused a few hearts to go into mouths, but his goalkeeper rescued it. Didn't have the pace to cause him significant problems. Brentford will try and work it now. Ben Rama taking the ball, spinning, turning, getting away from Norton. Right-footed ball in just too long for Watkins, and goes out of play for a goal kick. But Brentford's so dangerous when they can rob you of possession in your half. Ben Rama and Watkins, that combination that has been lethal over the course of the season, has been once tonight, but not quite on that occasion.
Well, super bit of skill, wasn't it, from Ben Rama? Ball goes into him, he uses his little toe just to flick it one way. Norton slips over, and he's got that early delivery, gets his head up, spots the runner Watkins, but it's just over here.
Gurhi. Now Cabango. Down the right-hand touchline for Swansea in towards Andre Ayew.
But look at that defending from Pinnock. You know, then he's not in 5 yards of space like Watkins was. You know, he's marched really closely, pressed from behind.
Gallagher on halfway, tries to get it away from Ben Rama and succeeds. Plays it back for Cabango. Cabango goes out towards the right-hand touchline. Now an opportunity for Kyle Norton to bring it forward. But again, he can't go too far forward. Brentford so resolute, pressing behind the ball. They switch the direction to Swansea from right to left. Pontus Jansson catches Brewster, who stays down, no foul. Brentford will bring it forward. Marcondes, though, losing out. He's gone out of play. And it's by the best intents of Gurhi, and it's a throw, which will be taken on the Brentford right-hand side. And Ryan Brewster just having a word with the referee, just indicating that he felt as though Pontus Jansson did him there, but nothing was given, and it will be a throw, which will be taken on the Brentford right. 17 to go. Brentford 3, Swansea 0, 3-1 on aggregate.
Well, there are a couple of Brentford subs here getting ready, and I think he needs to make some changes here. Thomas Frank, get some energy into the team. Quite a few players out there look like they're flagging, especially in the front part. No surprise, have put an awful lot of effort in.
Dalsgaard to Jensen, back for Dalsgaard to Norgard, to Jensen to Dalsgaard, who's caught there by Danda, and that'll be a yellow card. Jan Danda, frustrated, doesn't look at the referee, just walks past him with a yellow card high in the air. Dalsgaard, the player that was caught, was probably the worst challenge of the night.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Danda, you know, you can't be doing that. Obviously, you're losing 3-0. You need a goal. You can't afford to waste vital seconds like this. Stay on your feet.
Second player booked for Swansea tonight, along with Cabango. Dalsgaard in the book for Brentford. Jensen taking the free kick down towards the corner flag, and Burmo with a bustling run, puts it over his shoulder and out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Swansea left-hand side. But they just can't, after that little flurry of possession, get enough decent moves together. Bidwell trying to buy a free kick from Jensen. Brentford win it back with Burmo. Danda it's in there very sharply, but Norgard won it back. Marcondes has got it. Watkins playing on the shoulder on the edge of the area. They've worked him in. The angle is tight. The flag is up. Only hit the side netting anyway. Sean Macialis running the line on this near touchline. Put the flag up. And it is a free kick. And that's the cue for some changes. And Burmo coming off. And Canos is coming on to replace him. And the other change, I think, is Marcondes to be replaced by De Silva. Is it going to be a triple change, in fact? Ben Rama also coming off.
Yeah, good changes. Much needed as well.
In fact, it's not Ben Rama who's coming off. He saw the number 10 board up and did what I did. He's come off towards the touchline, but it's not his number that was coming off, because it was the Swansea number 10. So Selina is on for Norton. And Steve Cooper having to try and make a more attack-minded change. I think that'll be the cue now to
there's been Ram, I want to come off. I'm knackered. I'm done. What more do you want me to do? Surely I can't do any more. We're 3-0 up. Wrap me up in cotton wool for the final.
No, keep going, son. Keep going. Goal kick taken by Erwin Mulder, or the free kick for the offside, should I say, by Mulder, and he's chipped it straight out of play. So Swansea have gone to a 4 now. Gurhey and Cabango, the two centre-halves. Conor Roberts at right back, and Bidwell in a more orthodox left-back position in a 4, which will suit him. Cabango back to his goalkeeper. Mulder gets it away. Selina, who's playing on the left-hand side, the cost of an international. Good first contribution from him. Janssen, he's made a right mess of that on the edge of the area. Goalkeeper off his line, lobbed over him, and Ryan Brewster has given Swansea the goal that gets them back into this tie. And just when it looked as though there would be no way back, they're back within 1 goal, and they've got 13 minutes to find it. Mistake by Pontus Jansson. Goalkeeper was off his line. Ryan Brewster read the situation well, lobs it over him, and it's 3-1.
Got a great awareness here from Ryan Brewster, knowing where the space was. Terrible defending from Jansson. Too casual, too confident. He's just got to put his foot through and clear his lines. Instead, he tries a little fancy flick. The ball drops at the feet of Brewster, uses the bounce on the ball just to loft it over Raya, who is in no man's land. Game on. That goal could be worth millions then for Brewster.
Could be. So you got a cultural reference. I only used it once.
Maybe Deck might have looked it up by now.
No, he hasn't.
Richard Pryor, surely.
They will break forward at the other end. Will Brentford with Canos. Knocked away by Cabango. Game on again with a goal out of nothing really as far as Swansea are concerned, but it gives them big hope. 3-1 on the night. 3-2 Brentford lead on aggregate. Henry playing it forward. Had a play for a Swansea throw. And this is a test of Brentford's nerve and mettle. The defeat at home to Barnsley clearly hurt them. Prior to that, the defeat at Stoke, when they knew they could give themselves the advantage in the race for automatic promotion. Couldn't take those chances. A third straight defeat in South Wales at the weekend. Brilliant performance from them tonight, but wouldn't be human with what's at stake, particularly with this being the last game here at Griffin Park. Their nerves weren't just wobbling a little bit as Swansea try and turn the screw with this change of formation. Are you helping it on? It's another awkward header from Pontus Jansson. It went sideways off his head. Dalsgaard helps to help it away. Ayew was then offside as it comes back in from Selina, and it's a free kick to Brentford on the edge of their own penalty area. And Pontus Jansson's had 2 minutes to forget.
He has. I mean, I guess for the goal, you look at the clearance, and it's so casual. You know, I guess, look, it might come from how they play, how they want to play. Obviously, you know, he's part of that Bielsa side. Pinnock too was from a footballing sort of family, fraternity with Barnsley, so they want to play out, but at times be a defender and just clear your lines. Too casual with the clearance.
3-1, 3-2 on aggregate. Norgard out to Jensen, who started the evening in the fantastic start for Brentford with a defence-splitting pass for the first goal. Ben Rama to Norgard, into the feet on the edge of the penalty area again. De Silva with a shot, he's put it wide. Goalkeeper scrambling. The first sighted goal for De Silva, who scuffs it just wide of the far post.
Well, I did saw him score a great goal here against Barnsley with his left leg. That was on his weaker right, just dragged it wide. It's a very open game though now, isn't it, Jim?
There's a completely different feel about it now.
Yeah.
Free kick which is taken quickly in the midfield by Swansea, by Grimes. It was Gallagher that was fouled. Back for Cabango. Cabango to Gallagher. Gallagher inside the centre circle. To his left-hand side for Gurhey. Gurhey down to Selina. Selina rolling his studs of his right boot over the top of the ball. Another step over. Lays it back for Grimes. Grimes infield to Cabango. Cabango, right-footed ball, clipped down towards Roberts. Swansea have got 10 minutes to score here on Talk Sport. Roberts trying to bring the ball forward. Edge of the area, it's Ayew. Left-footed ball just dribbles inside the penalty area. He's claiming he was fouled. Brentford get it away. And Watkins again, not the tallest, not the most formidable physical presence, but he holds it up so well and wins another free kick, which will just allow Brentford to run the clock down a little bit more. And Ayew has gone in the book, and that might be for persistent moaning. But he's got a card. Brentford free kick over on the far touchline.
Can you get a card for persistent moaning?
Well, or one piece of aggravated moaning, perhaps it could be.
Well, I have a degree of sympathy with Ayew because I think he's at the rough end of the stick for a little bit here. Whether he was challenged, I'm not too sure. I didn't see too much in that, but
free kick taken into De Silva's feet. Lovely turn from the former Arsenal man. Back for Ben Rama. Another Brentford goal and it's surely all over, but if Swansea can score, we're heading for extra time. You're with Talk Sport.
Oh, he's tried that little turn again. Ben Rama receives a straight ball, fakes to go over his big toe, but uses little toe to spin the other way. It's brilliant.
Header away from Dalsgaard, brought down in the midfield by Grimes. Grimes into the feet of Danda, and back it goes to Cabango. You're listening to Brentford against Swansea in the second leg of the Championship playoffs with Screwfix proudly supporting football at home. Gurhey. Right-footed ball from him. He's got a good range of passing, the youngster on loan from Chelsea. Connor Roberts makes his way forward. It was helped round the corner by Ayew. He was caught. Referee just waited to see if anything developed Swansea's way, and when it didn't, he's pulled play back to give him a free kick, which Grimes is going to take responsibility for. It's about 3 yards in from the right-hand touchline and 15 outside the penalty area. Yellow card shown. I'm not sure whether that was to Ben Rama or to Jensen for kicking the ball away. Probably Ben Rama. But it is a yellow card and a free kick in a good position here. Can Swansea make the most of this opportunity? 4 in the D. Cabango makes a darting run. Swung in deep. David Raya comes out and claims it very well.
Yeah, good take here from Raya. He's done very well, hasn't he, on the balls into the box. He's only punched one, elected to punch one. The rest he's claimed really cleanly. It's got to be a better ball in though. Too much loft, too high. This will be a bit of a lower delivery, more pace.
Raya kicks from hands. Eventually, Bruce was making the point that he was wasting more than enough time. And he's put it straight out of play for a throw which will be taken over on the Swansea right-hand side. They trail 3-1 on the night, 3-2 down on aggregate. They have to score. They've got 7 minutes plus a fair bit of stoppage time to do so. Could easily be 5 minutes added on here, so probably about 12 minutes of playing time left. Selina towards the edge of the penalty area. Selina down towards Danda. Danda back through the midfield for Gallagher. Gallagher getting it back again. De Silva in the way of the forward pass. Grimes helping inside the area. Are you almost able to guide it and flick it on towards Brewster? But Brentford stand firm, and the red and white stripes can get out of their own penalty area and bring it forward with Henry. Tired ball forward from him, though, given away. They win it back with Watkins. Watkins to De Silva. De Silva picking up in the midfield. Now it comes down for Canos. Canos to Watkins. Watkins drifting out into a wide position. Canos then supplies the width and rolls it down the right-hand side of the area for Watkins. Watkins back. Ben Rama takes a touch. Oh, and it's an excellent save. Did it just flick the top of the bar on its way over? I must admit, I thought that Mulder had got a hand to it to help it onto the bar, but a goal kick to restart play. And Ben Rama, who hit the post in the first half, kisses the bar now, and that would have been curtains for Swansea. But as it is, they're still in there with a puncher's chance. 6 minutes to find a goal.
Well, suddenly they just come alive, don't they, in and around the box. Canos, a lovely ball into Watkins, super cut back, and Ben Rama with a strike over the bar.
Selina now towards the edge of the penalty area, the other end for Swansea. Can't find Brewster. Pinnock hammers it clear. All the way through for Mulder. He takes a touch. Side foots it forward. Gurhey to Grimes. We've seen plenty of it now. Selina to Danda. Danda inside the centre circle. Sends an elevated pass out towards the right back, Roberts. Roberts cutting it back into space for Danda, who's got 4 in the line in the penalty area. Gallagher. That was the pass that he played. Gallagher's ball forward hits Norgard, and then as he comes back for Danda, he wins a free kick. Foul by Jensen, and another opportunity for Swansea to get the ball forward for the aerial targets here.
Well, they need a better delivery in the box. I just wonder, might be Danda here. It might change. Yeah, it might be an outswinger rather than an in-swinger.
Gurhey's forward. Selina unmarked at the far post. It's swung in. David Raya has patted it down. It's not further clear by De Silva on the edge of his own penalty area. And Swansea will turn it with Roberts all the way back to their goalkeeper Mulder, which is the cue for Brentford to try and push out. Swansea have it at the back with Gallagher, who's the deepest of their outfield players when he took it off his goalkeeper. Back from him to Roberts. 4 plus stoppage time to go. Swansea need a score. 3-2 down on aggregate. Another lovely crossfield ball out towards the right-hand side for Andre Ayew. Ayew trying to get away from Ben Rama can't. Ball comes in from Roberts. Selina attacking it. And he's just lent in to Dalsgaard as he tried to put his head on that. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Brentford inside their own penalty area. But they haven't got to Wembley yet. Spirited late resistance from Swansea City.
Well, there's a few weary, tired legs out there, that's for sure. They have grown into this game, Swansea. They really have. I mean, that front three of Brentford, they've only sparkled a couple of times. That chance there for Ben Rama was probably about it in the second half. Not too much else.
Jensen is down receiving treatment at the moment. He's just got a touch of cramp. A reminder that Jordan and Jace taking your calls in the sports bar tonight. 08717 22 33 44. The second leg of the other playoff semi-final coming your way tomorrow from just down the road from here at Craven Cottage. Fulham against Cardiff. Cardiff trying to overturn a 2-0 first leg deficit, something that's never been done successfully in the Championship playoffs before. Some want to do it one day. Cardiff hoping that it's them tomorrow. It's live on Talk Sport. And of course the final comes your way with Sam and Dean Ashton Tuesday night from Wembley. Brentford, as things stand, will be in it. Swansea making a better fist of making their life difficult now. Raya comes right to the right-hand edge of his penalty area to pick up a speculative Bidwell through ball.
And he's probably going to jog all the way over to the other side, waste some vital few seconds.
Well, I'd want my goalkeeper to, but it's certainly time wasting in extremis at times. Here's Gallagher picking it up in the midfield, and he's done well. He's fouled by Watkins. Play goes on though. He's laid it out towards the right-hand touchline for Danda. Danda turning it back through the midfield for Roberts. Roberts to Gurhey, the left of the two centre-halves. Selina in space. Bidwell trying to turn it forward to Selina, and it will break the way off him. Heads it on inside the penalty area, chases after it himself. He gets it across. Janssen is there, stands firm, clears his lines, and he goes out of play for what would have been a throw. It is a throw. Just rolled over the line. Throw to Swansea. 15 yards from the corner flag, they're attacking on their left flank. It's 3-1 Brentford. Now we're in the 89th minute. Gallagher towards the edge of the penalty area. Back from Bidwell to Grimes. Brentford at the moment cannot get out. Gurhey to Cabango inside his own half, but only just. Actually plays it behind square for Gurhey, and he will use the emergency exit behind him of Mulder. Brentford push out and get to halfway very quickly. Now they force the retreat as Mulder chips it forward. Headed on the right-hand side by Roberts, trying to get Brewster in behind Henry. Cleared, though, through the midfield by Norgard. Looks as though Brentford might have been offside there, but no flag. Play goes on with De Silva. De Silva on halfway, finding Canos. And Canos tries to take it down the right-hand touchline. Challenge from Bidwell. Goes out of play for a throw to Brentford. And Canos has stayed down injured. And there are 6 additional minutes to be played. Those 6 minutes won't start until the referee is happy that Canos is okay and able to continue. He's just waving the referee away. He's getting back to his feet now. 6 minutes for Brentford to hang on to a 3-2 aggregate lead.
Well, I just wonder at what point, if you're Thomas Frank, might you bring another centre-half on? Put another one in there just in case. Maybe Swansea chuck a centre-back up top. Final few minutes.
Dalsgaard just asking for clarification. Here's a throw rather than a free kick to restart play, which I sense he probably knew all along. He's got another throw now, and this one from an almost identical position. It's Brewster that acts as the ball boy for him this time. Dalsgaard spins the ball in the palm of his right hand and now throws it down the line, trying to get Watkins to get a run on the Gurhey. Gurhey standing firm. Watkins maintaining possession down by the corner flag. Back it comes from De Silva. De Silva to Canos. Canos on his left foot, and it's comfortably saved by Mulder. And he'll try and get the ball forward as quickly as he can to get Swansea going again. 5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Swansea trailing 3-1 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. Pushing forward here with Brewster. Selina in space, left-hand side of the area. But he went for goal himself, and it was comfortably saved. But Selina was in 10 yards of space. If he could have picked his head up and picked him out, it could have been a different story.
Oh, it was a really good break as well from Swansea. I think Ayew just wanted the return ball, because then maybe he could have seen Selina on the outside. Brewster didn't, went for goal, went for glory from about 30 yards out. Comfortable save from Raya.
There's a rarity, a poor first touch from... Oh, it's a skirmish far side. Conor Roberts and Thomas Frank both getting involved. It's a Swansea throw. Frank picked the ball up. Conor Roberts took exception to that and barged into the Brentford manager. And it's all going to take a little bit of sorting out for the fourth official. And still he goes on. Ben Rama's over there. He's a bit of bad blood after the first leg, and also after some of the comments that were made before this game. And it's just boiled over. Yellow card shown by the referee. I'm guessing that's for Roberts. And a yellow card shown as well, probably to Thomas Frank. Can't really see. So many bodies over there. Can't see who the recipient of the cards
I think that might have been Thomas Frank, yeah, because look, I think Roberts went over there to get the ball. I think Frank just moved it away. Obviously a little clash. Both got booked.
There'll be more time to be added on as a result of that. Long throw taken, Jensen gets it away. Brentford hanging on, 3-1 up on the night, 3-2 up on aggregate. Set to say goodnight to Griffin Park in style, but you never know. Throw to be taken on the Swansea right-hand side, hurled long down the touchline. Headed back by Henry, and out of play for another throw, which will be taken by Brentford over on that left-hand side. Well, 6 minutes was put up. It's going to end up being probably nearer 7.5, and we've played nearly 3.5 so far, so probably just under 4 minutes of playing time to go. Swansea need to score to take it to extra time. You're with TalkSport. Jim Proudfoot and David Connolly with the action here at Griffin Park. It's been a thrilling playoff semi-final second leg. Pontus Jansson, whose mistake led to the Swansea goal, clipped forward by him through the midfield. Watkins trying to make something happen. Good turn, gets away from Gallagher on the edge of the box, and then continues his run down to the byline. Ball in, looking for Canos, knocked away by Cabango, and it's a Brentford corner. There'll be no great desire to hurl this inside the penalty area, but it will be an opportunity to keep possession down by the corner flag and run some seconds off the clock.
Well, like Swansea are going to leave 3 up here and just drag 4 Brentford players back, try and win this ball back as quickly as they can, then get it forward.
Second half possession has been more than 60% Swansea, but just the one goal to show for an improved performance over the last 20 minutes or so. Here's Ben Rama from the corner. He's lost possession. Oh, he's won it back brilliantly. Ben Rama! Just wide. Well, he would be a fitting goal scorer of the last one at Griffin Park, and he couldn't find it there. That would have been Wembley all wrapped up, but it wasn't to be, and Swansea still alive and kicking with about 2.5-3 minutes of stoppage time to go. Selina in so much space on the Swansea left, almost half the pitch to himself, but it was hit into a central area instead by his goalkeeper Mulder. Brentford win it, launch it back into Swansea territory. Gurhey's got it. Gurhey for Grimes. Grimes side-footing it forward for Jan Danda. Danda through the centre circle, out towards Roberts. Roberts down the touchline, down the right-hand side of the area for Ayew. Has he won a corner? Yes, he has. And this could be a big, big moment. It could be this all or nothing for Swansea City. Yeah, really good move. Kept it alive there well. Gurhey, little ball infield, then into Grimes, then into Danda. The goalkeeper's gone up for this one. So Mulder has made his way forward. Everybody forward for Swansea City. We're in the 6th minute of stoppage time. A Swansea corner over on the right flank. Swansea have to score. Left-footed in, swinging delivery. Everybody goes up for it. It's Pontus Jansson that heads it away. Gallagher wins it back for Swansea near the edge of the centre circle. Down from him to Selina, they've lost it. Goalkeeper sprinting, trying to get back. Brentford will be able to bring it forward on the counter. It's Josh De Silva, played in by Benrahma. De Silva towards the edge of the penalty area. Twist, turns, left-footed shot, well blocked. Roberts got in the way, and Swansea will bring it forward again and win a throw with about a minute to go. 3-1 Brentford lead, 3-2 on aggregate. Just seconds remaining. Throw taken by Bidwell. Bidwell goes back for Gurhey.
Well, Bruce, he's got to get up front now. Great recovery, but get up front. Swansea needs you.
High long ball. Posted for Cabango. For Ayew. Selina. First time shot from him. Blocked by Dalsgaard, and that is it. Brentford saying goodbye in Griffin Park, and hello to Wembley. They are in the playoff final. They're 90 minutes away from top flight football for the first time since 1947, and a century of league action at Griffin Park comes to an end with an absorbing playoff semi-final tie. Brentford in complete control, but then on the ropes for the last 15 minutes or so. It's a swan song that they will never forget here. Swansea City more than played their part in that, particularly late on in the game, but ultimately they couldn't replicate their first leg heroics or the miracle of the Medeski, and they sit on the Griffin Park turf, heads bowed. They can't believe that their run has come to an end. Brentford left to hang on, but they say goodbye to Griffin Park with a victory. They have beaten Swansea by 3 goals to 1 on the night and 3 goals to 2 on aggregate.